The Switch may not be the most powerful piece of hardware in the market, but the sales figures don't lie. It's one of the most profitable systems of all time, and many people agree that it has some of the best video game experiences that you can get your hands on today. But which one soared to the top of the mountain, according to you? Well, this top 10 list was compiled by assessing the Metascore user rankings on Nintendo Switch games. It will also include console exclusives, so if you can play it on a PlayStation or an Xbox, then don't expect to see it here. With that in mind then, I'm Sai for WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 best Nintendo Switch games according to you. Number 10, XENOBLADE Chronicles Definitive Edition, 8.8. The first game on this list is an instant win, as this 2020 Switch remaster of the beloved 2010 game XENOBLADE Chronicles comes storming out of the gate. Do you enjoy dense worlds, fun characters, sci-fi fantasy aesthetics and strong RPG gameplay? Then boy howdy, you must love XENOBLADE Chronicles. The title was originally released 13 years ago for the Wii and was a spiritual successor to the games Xenogears and Xenosaga. Chronicles wowed players with its great storytelling, fun mechanics and incredible setting, which takes place on the corpses of two fighting titans. Now that's metal. The Definitive Edition is an expanded remaster with a litany of quality of life improvements. It features updates to many of the core elements, including graphics, user interface, gameplay and music. And if that's not already enough, it comes with a new epilogue focusing on the character of Melea. Considering Xenoblade Chronicles' success, it's no wonder that main character Shulk wound up appearing in Smash Bros. Number 9, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, 8.8. Is the first iconic Nintendo mascot to grace this list with their presence. Kirby might not have the same level of fame as Mario or Link, but he's a big household name and easily one of Nintendo's most recognisable characters. How fitting then that his return to Dreamland is held in such high regard. This is another Switch remaster, bringing the acclaimed Wii title Kirby's Return to Dreamland to the console. It does a great job of capturing the nostalgia of the original while adding more to it. For example, besides updating the visuals, it also includes an epilogue that lets you play as the previously non-playable character Magalore. And who'd have thought that Xenoblade and Kirby had some things in common. It also has an awesome co-op mode that lets you and up to 3 friends complete levels as a collection of characters from the franchise. The other playable characters include Meta Knight, King Dedede and Waddle Dee, or you could just play as 3 different coloured versions of Kirby's if you'd like. The original Kirby's Return to Dreamland was released in 2011 and was the first title in 11 years to return to the traditional platforming format. The fact that this remake is so highly regarded proves that this was ultimately worth the wait. Number 8, Super Mario Odyssey, 8.9. Ah, Mario, fancy seeing you here. As Nintendo's most iconic mascot, it felt inevitable that the red-hatted plumber would make it onto this list somewhere. Super Mario Odyssey is certainly a worthy entry, as it's a superb title that proves the character is still relevant decades upon decades after his video game debut. So what makes Odyssey so good? The game is an excellent platformer with plenty of unique gameplay loops and a collection of exciting kingdoms that are tons of fun to explore. Each world is brimming with enjoyable things to do, mechanics to play with and places to look at your own pace. Plus, the hat mechanics of Cappy are buckets of fun, whether you're throwing him as a weapon or using him to possess NPCs. Naturally, it's a surprise to see this game coming in as low as number 8, especially considering that it's touted as one of the best titles on the resume of Mario. To clarify that point, here's a spoiler alert: it's the only Mario game on this list. From here on out, throw Cappy and all of your expectations into the wind. Number 7, Astral Chain, 8.9. Police officers battling interdimensional monsters with sci-fi weapons. Okay, yes, this is quite a departure from the Italian plumber, but it's very cool indeed. There's a chance that not all of you are familiar with Astral Chain, despite coming from famed developers Platinum Games. However, those of you who have played it agree that it's an incredibly enjoyable title that's easy to get lost in, and one that's long overdue a sequel. This action-packed adventure is a sci-fi game set in a futuristic megacity where dangerous creatures known as chimeras invade Earth. You, as a member of Neuron, a special police task force, battle against them in high-octane sequences, making use of the titular chain mechanic. The Astral Chain weapon allows you to attack in unique ways, bouncing monsters about, wrapping them up, and plenty more. Another key selling point of the combat is legions, i.e. a roster of captured chimeras you can use as living weapons. Deploying these beasts and getting used to what each can do is incredibly satisfying and gives the game's action a unique feel. There's no way it sold even a fraction of what Super Mario Odyssey did, but all the same, those that did buy it apparently loved it. Number 6, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, 8.9. Clearly, Nintendo fans can't get enough of the little pink puffball, and considering that the Forgotten Land is easily one of his best games, seeing Kirby here twice shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Kirby and the Forgotten Land landed on the Nintendo Switch in 2022 and quickly gained acclaim. It marked the first time that Kirby Kirby ever strayed into full 3D platforming, and it knocked his debut into the medium out of the park. Running around as this likeable character, exploring fun environments, battling bosses and using his iconic copy ability have rarely felt better than this game. Plus, the addition of mouthful mode, which lets you stretch over objects to take control of them, helped to set it further apart from his previous games. Is it a car? Is it a plane? Is it a vending machine? No, it's Kirby, but yes, also all of those things. Very few people were expecting to see a 3D Kirby game in 2022, but he came, he served, and he delivered. And that's why he's made it onto this list twice. Number 5, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes 8.9. I'm sure many people were expecting an appearance from Fire Emblem somewhere on this list. The tactical role-playing franchise is a complex, challenging and rewarding series that many people cherish. That being said, you probably expected to see the mainline Three Houses game here, not the Dynasty Warriors style spin-off. So, surprise. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is the follow-up to Fire Emblem Warriors. Seeing the Three Houses cast come back and come back in a different way was certainly refreshing. And whilst it is a surprise to see this game ranking higher than all other Fire Emblem games, it's the only one on this list, there's no denying that this is an enjoyable hack and slash game with plenty of additional features outside of, well, hacking and slashing. This non-canon entry into the franchise puts you in the shoes of a new character, Shez, and lets you pick one of the 3 houses to join. Each option leads you to a different story and ending. Once you've picked, you can delve into the action as you slaughter countless enemies with satisfying gameplay. It's a perfect marriage between Fire Emblem and Warriors, so if you like both franchises, you'll be in heaven. Number 4, Pikmin 4 8.9. Pikmin might not be everyone's first choice of iconic Nintendo franchises, but this adorable series from mastermind Shigeru Miyamoto deserves its praise. It's fun, clever, cute, and has produced many great games. As you can see by the high ranking of this installment, plenty of gamers would agree. Pikmin 4, which coincidentally hits the number 4 spot here, was the first mainline Pikmin game to be released since Pikmin 3 all the way back in 2013. A decade later, in 2023, the series proves that its core gameplay loop is still infectiously fun and there are plenty of chances to innovate within the series. The game comes with the typical plus points you can expect from a Pikmin game: fun levels to explore, strategy to consider, plenty of collectibles, great music, and a charming art style. It also came with a boatload of new Game Plus content. One particular highlight is the all-new Night Expeditions, which switched the format into a tower defense mode, adding a spice of variety to the gameplay, and the adorable green Pikmin. Oh, I love them. This is a game that captures what makes Nintendo special, so it makes sense to see it so far up. Number 3, Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX 9.0. Okay, so here is where the real surprises start. No one would blame you for not being familiar with the Monster Rancher series, as these games, of which there are 15, are more popular in Japan than around the world. As such, it's certainly a surprise to see it placed over the likes of Fire Emblem, Kirby and Super Mario. But what exactly is Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX? This 2021 release is a remastered version of the first 2 games in the series, originally released for PlayStation, designed to bring the properties to the Nintendo Switch. In the games, you collect and raise monsters in a life simulator format. You then train these beasts to complete in tournaments where they partake in battles. While that sounds all too familiar and like a rip-off of Pokemon, actually both of these series debuted around the same time. Of course, one property rose to fame around the world while the other has mostly remained unknown in the West, even if it scores better than the Pocket Monster franchise on this list. Quite dramatically better, in fact, considering that Pokemon Scarlet has 3.4 on Metacritic. The critic reviews for Monster Hunter 1 and 2 DX are mixed, with its placement here proving that the die-hard Monster Rancher fans really seem to love this remaster. Number 2, Token RANBU Warriors 9.2. Well, would you look at that, it's another Warriors game, but what is this one based on? Again, no one will blame you for being unfamiliar with Touken RANBU. For the uninitiated, this IP is a free-to-play collectible card game that's incredibly popular in Japan. While the property has not found much success outside of the country, it clearly did enough to land a high place here. The series allows players to go back in time and stop the evil history retrograding force from changing the course of history. And you stop them by bringing legendary swords to life and gathering enough of them to make an army. Oh, and the swords are portrayed as attractive men. Actually, why haven't I played this game? Once again, this highly user-scored spin-off takes a popular Japanese property and attaches the Warriors gameplay to it, letting you play as a collection of token danshi, the living swords, as they battle through waves of enemies. It also also includes mini-games and dating sim elements. While it sounds like there's some innovation, the core hack-and-slash gameplay is woefully basic, especially when compared to the previously mentioned Fire Emblem spin-off. The scores from critics on this one are middling and mixed, but in terms of popularity, this game has apparently got it. And number 1, Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher, 9.4. Here's a list of games that didn't make it onto this list: Metroid Dread, Animal Crossing New Horizons, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom. Those latter two are considered not only some of the best Nintendo games of all time, but also two of the best games of all time, period. But screw them, because here's an Ultraman Monster Rancher crossover game. Yay! This game sees the Monster Rancher series clash with Ultraman, the beloved Japanese superhero. It lets you, in typical Rancher fashion, raise monster pets to take part in epic battles. But unlike the regular titles, these monsters are massive kaiju. It comes complete with over 200 kaiju, many of which are from the Ultraman series, including Garamon, Alien Boltan, Gamora, Zeton, and plenty more. The game has everything Monster Rancher fans love, complete with a bigger scale, Ultraman-style kaiju battles, and more polish on the core gameplay loop. Despite its plus points, the game is still a very standard Monster Rancher title with a repetitive system and a lack of adventure, so its position at the top of this list is a shock to say the least. Sometimes life surprises you, and so do the people that leave Metacritic reviews. When it comes to user review scores, the Nintendo Switch is hardly the only console with a surprising top 10. Click the video on screen now to find out what the top PlayStation 5 games are according to Metacritic. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment down below on your top 10 Nintendo Switch games, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more content every day. I've been Cy for WhatCulture, and have a good week.